to Anime Club Super. I'm Reina Scully.
And I'm William Haynes.
And this week we watched Howl's Moving Castle.
I got it, alright?
So, I don't understand Howl's, to be totally honest. I watched it now a total of 3 times? 2 times?
2 times.
And I watched it as an adult both times, and I really don't understand it. I don't get the through line of it. I know Miyazaki directed it, but I also know that it's not an original story. It was based off of a novel already.
Oh, yes.
So he took, and I know that he was like able to take a bunch
British
of liberties
lady.
with it. Yeah, that especially made me not understand the story because I don't get the through line.
Yeah, I really liked it. Also, this is one of the ones that I do watch in English.
Oh, really?
I remember I was watching it, and I didn't recognize who Hal's voice was at all. And then he became the owl like beast that he is.
Yeah, his bird version.
He's doing his voice, and I was like, that sounds like Batman. And it is Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
That does Howl in the English version.
He's a bird. He loves being a flight man.
Yeah, and it's really everything about Howl is super interesting to me. Like, I totally get it now that you mentioned it. Like, what was this movie about?
Yeah, what was the plot really?
But really, with Miyazaki movies, it's all about aesthetic to me, and like what I want to be there. And I would want to be in Howl's Moving Castle more than living regular life. So.
I would want that as well, just because Chunibyo. I'll take anything else that's abnormal and fantastical.
Even if you have to clean up the whole time.
Hell yeah, I love cleaning. It's therapeutic.
It is.
All right, so I guess I'll just start by asking a bunch of questions about it, because like there are specific things that I don't really understand. So, from what I saw and understood, the Witch of the Waste.
The Witch of the Waste
is basically the reason why everything happens.
Yes.
Okay, so
she sets it into motion.
Yeah, so she wants to eat Howl's heart because he's a powerful wizard, and she wants to
Which I love about
young.
this world. I've never heard about that in any other Miyazaki movie. That's kind of a dark anime thing, like consume their soul. Ooh,
consume their heart to live forever as like a magic wielder.
Urban legend says that Howl eats girls' hearts all the time.
I thought that was just like a phrase, like because he's like a lady killer.
I thought they meant literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God. Okay. So maybe
Or does that mean make them sad?
Yeah, because he is attractive and like lures them in and then plays with them and then discards them, kind of thing. Like he's not really. That's why he doesn't really find love. Or okay, wait, no, I have so many questions because even if you say that though, when he was like molting and all depressed and sad. Markle was like, oh, he gets like this sometimes. He did this because of a girl once. A girl dumped him and he got all sad. And I'm like, well, I don't understand what the point of this. Okay.
Oh, like I was saying, I think like what is interesting about Howl to me is that he's like what I think a lot of human beings have is like what you're like outside of your home and what you're like inside of your home. And we all have our friend that's like, when they're with just you, they'll show you who the real you is. When they're at home, they're like, but I'm actually not that confident. But every moment they spend outside of their home, they're like, I'm a prince. Like, he literally becomes someone else when he goes outside his home.
He really does.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that isn't the real authentic him. I think once you spend all of your confident energy, usually you come home and you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, you're deflated and done for the day.
Yeah, and especially so if you're a wizard, and not just a wizard, you're like 4 different types of wizards. You're Pendragon, and you're Howl.
So what you're trying to say is that he's so exhausted from playing all these different roles while also being a magic wielding
He
wizard.
wouldn't have any time to also just be developing.
Polish himself at home.
Yeah, polish him. What's funny about him is he's kind of stuck in his boyhood a bit. One would say because the room that he adds for Sophie at the end, where it's very much connected to his boyhood story. I think he's still stuck as that boy, but he's grown into a man.
That field area where he goes in his summer and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows he's an old wizard. He's a young wizard, but truthfully to himself, he's more of a teenager wizard.
He's like. Yeah, just pubescent, I guess.
He's like, I can't go see the queen by myself.
I know, could you go with my mom and reject on my behalf? Like, that was also, there's a lot, I guess, because for me personally, I don't like it when, I just don't get him. As, like, a man, I don't understand, or as a man that is, like, a powerful wizard man, I don't get it. Also, because his, what he wants to do, stop the war, and he, like, physically puts himself in battle, that's so manly.
Oh yeah, that
and
is
so
pretty heroic.
physically like damning, and he
Yeah.
like hurts himself, and he just wants the war to end.
Yeah,
So
I like the
having-
metaphor that if he does that a lot, he won't be able to transform himself back into Howl. A regular
It'll
person,
just
he
be
becomes vicious, which is like, yeah. And once again, I think that this has one of the most vicious scenes in a Ghibli movie. Also, like this
Because he
is pure
bleeds.
war. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pure war. People are like dying by the hundreds.
But I also
in Wizards.
noticed it's true, and like I honestly, okay, so Miyazaki obviously has a thing with war and like a message about how it only damages everything. But what's weird though is it feels so honestly actually kind of random because there's this whole story and universe that Howl exists in, and he has his own issues, and like, you know, obviously the war is why the kingdoms are in peril, but at the end of the day they're in a war because their king from another kingdom or the prince from another kingdom got turned into a turnip by some random curse, and he has the power to end the war. But seeing that Sullivan, the magic wielder from Howl's kingdom, sees that, he was just like, oh, so everything was for naught. Okay, I guess I'll end the war. It just seems so
Yeah, it did
easy.
wrap up quite easily.
And there's a scene where they're sending off a bunch of these like really intense looking submarine tank type of ships, and it has all these different flags on it, and all the people are like waving goodbye at it.
Very familiar.
And then it comes back all like damaged and sad and
I
all
know,
messed
it's
up.
like, oh.
But like it's so quick though. Like I felt like there was no development in that message whatsoever.
I guess Merkel's like maybe he's a perma boy and he's not aging.
He's my favorite character.
Yeah,
He and Turnip
yeah.
Prince, like I know I just criticized the Prince, but like Turnip is MVP obviously,
Yeah.
and Markle is my absolute favorite.
Yeah. And I guess Sophie, we could say maybe she was or was not aging. No, time did go on because the mom did get married, remember? Remarried.
That's another one.
And
I
why
didn't
does her mom
understand.
look so young?
Her mom looks like her sister.
Her mom looks like her sister. Totally didn't get that even the first or second time I watched the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that was her mom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was
why-
her big sister or something.
No, that was her mom, but also her mom is like not great. Like first of all, she's not affected whatsoever by
You
her
were gone!
age and her
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
Like she's like, oh, you like must be under a curse. I think she just like really quickly just dealt with
dismissed
it.
She
Yeah.
was too busy with herself getting
Well,
remarried.
But also though, she was there to trick them. Like she's the one that brought in the little bag, and the Witch of the Waste opened it and threw Calcifer the poison, and she started smoking the cigar that like dampened
I
everyone's
know.
magic. That's what I mean. Okay, so back to the main question that I had. Like the Witch of the Waste.
He played a trick on us with that because, like, you know, in a lot of Miyazaki movies, he's like, the line of good and evil is kind of blurred. You're like, you don't know if a good guy, she turns around the Wicked Witch of the Waste. We're like, maybe she seems even like kind of not even sentient anymore. You're like, she's just an older woman.
But that's what
now.
I mean. Okay,
but
so
she
she
still does something evil to mess it all up in the end.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's so all worthless because she is the one that sets everything into motion. So fine and whatever. But then she is worthless for her own self because all she wants to do is stay young. So there's not really like a redeeming quality there either. It's just about herself, and it's not even about like, oh, she's so powerful that you should be worried about it. Because at the end of the day, she just is. Actually, no, never mind. The Sullivan turned her into this like mopey, gross thing. So it's whatever.
Sullivan is a really cool character too. The greenhouse that she lives in or does business out of always inspired me. I want that to be real so bad.
Is it because it looks pretty much like a bigger version of Nausicaa's?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, or like
It
even like
is.
Kiki's mom's kitchen.
Yeah,
is what
it
that
is.
looks like.
Yeah. I'm
It's kind of
totally-
like a birdcage, actually.
And why I like it is because like I'm an introverted person. I like inside things and be able to have outside, inside. Like there's a parrot in here living naturally with this spawn. Kind of like Laputa. Like it's like it's like totally natural, but it's also an inside place. you
It's like
can go.
encased, yeah.
And also in like Spirited Away last week we were talking about where she's hiding with Haku. It's like inside, but an outside inside. And I'm totally into inside outside.
You want to be in a terrarium?
Yeah. That is like that's,
I get that.
Yeah,
Or
the
like
more we pollute our earth, the more we're gonna be like, we need some terrariums.
like a bird, like
Yeah, it's like a greenhouse.
sanctuary.
Yeah, but I'm not really into birds. I don't know if you heard my thing about birds. Like, let birds be free because they poop and they're loud. I think birds are so beautiful sounding, and the way that she has it there was really cool.
I really can't get over how much the Witch of the Waste doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she's just
No, because-
evil.
Okay, so she gets decrepit and stupid, right? And she says stuff like "Karashifao-chan kawaii ne." Like she just says like repetitive dumb shit, and then she suddenly becomes sharp and like is enough to she just selfishly wants the cigar. She doesn't even realize what she's doing by feeding Calcifer the poison.
Oh, yeah, she
and
doesn't
then,
know. Yeah.
Then she realizes that Calcifer is Howl's heart. And then Sophie, even though she's made all these right decisions thus far, dumps water on her and Calcifer because she's burning. Even just let the Witch of the Waste burn.
Yeah.
Why not?
That last part, into the collapse of Howl's
Why did she need to do that?
Yeah.
So after, even before that, when she scooped
because she was
Calcifer
gonna eat him and
and
become more powerful.
I don't.
She'd rather kill him than to have him become more powerful. And isn't that the one thing he told you not to do in this house?
Yeah. To not take him out.
Maybe symbolically, this is saying that love is so chaotic and I agree. And if you had never let any of these women in here, you would have been just fine. But your house would have been really dirty.
It's dirty, but it's A-okay.
Would have been really dirty.
But your hair would have still been blonde.
I think that was his artist message was that love is chaotic.
Well,
but they all found love in the end. Everything turned out okay.
But why should it have turned out okay for the Witch of the Waste?
I think because even bad people can have happy endings. Sometimes I want that to happen too.
She seems innocuous because she's so old and after she gets all decrepit from Sullivan, that it kind of doesn't make any sense to me to continue having her in their party.
No, I know, yeah. Like, all right, she was
just dump her off.
Yeah, she's a witch.
Or honestly, wouldn't it have made more sense if Sophie was a wizard and her real thing was to fight the Witch of the Waste, and maybe she defeats the Witch of the Waste on Hal's behalf, and that's why they can live happily together. She doesn't realize she. Also, what doesn't make any sense is why is she sometimes old and sometimes not? I was trying to watch it and wondering when she turns young and when she doesn't. And at first it looks like it's when Hal is looking at her. It's when she's confident.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's when she's feeling confident.
She turns young again.
Yeah, but she'll still be silver haired. But
but she looks younger.
Yeah.
Or when she's in love.
Yeah.
Okay, because that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Is that what the curse was? I forget what the curse was.
No, the curse was simply
you're old and you can't tell anyone.
You can't tell anybody about the curse
until you fall in true love. Then the curse will solve itself.
That's what the curse.
I guess it was. Yeah, I guess.
But that's fun. Well, Turnip's thing was to be kissed by the one you love, and Turnip fell in love with Sophie.
Because she saved him.
Actually, I would excuse all of it if Sophie, let's say she was a wizard. Mm-hmm. Let's say she was, right? Mm-hmm. I would totally excuse all of this if her innate, power or ability or, her thing in being a magic person was that she can convince people of stuff, or she's just so good-hearted that she makes everybody listen to her, because otherwise, when she hugs the Witch of the Waste and goes, please Granny, please give it back. Why is that all she needed to do? I can't, it's just too weird to me. So if that's her power, and that's why the Turnip's instantly in love with her, and that's why Markle instantly trusts her, or everybody just falls in love with her pretty quickly, and they just trust her. If that's her thing, she gives off an aura where you're kind of mesmerized by her in a good way because she actually is good, then I'll forgive everything. But I don't know. I'm just too dumb.
You're saying she doesn't have any magic to her.
No, I'm saying if she did have some magic to her and that was her thing, that would make sense to me. But otherwise, why would the Witch of the Waste have so many different changes of heart when at the end she still wanted to eat Calcifer and she
I didn't want her there. Yeah, I don't want the Wicked the Waste there.
Yeah.
But I did like the rest of the universe. I want that to be a real world. It seemed like a cool place you could live. No matter where he went on the dimension thing.
His I wanted to say castle, but his ability to be in and out of different cities was amazing.
Also, I think Howl is the only other person in Ghibli world that is nearly as strong as Zeniba and the Wicked Witch of the Waste.
With magic.
Magic.
You were mentioning it. Yes,
those
absolutely.
are the three magical characters. Remember, Zeniba did a Dragon Ball Z.
She really did
beam. So I'm she should have been in the war with Howl.
She really is truly magic.
Yeah, truly magic. This is one of the movies that has literal magic.
You're absolutely right.
Haku, Zeniba, Howl.
But even they can be spiritual, right? And they're also in a different realm. Whereas Howl is he can manipulate the worlds we are in. So, he's done. I get that. It's magic. Yeah.
He and one of my favorite things about this movie is Howl's room. because Howl is really old. I don't know how old he is supposed to be, but if you were really old and you were like got to be youthful for the rest of your life, you would probably just keep collecting things. And my friend pointed out to me when we were looking at, I had his room as my background on my computer, and like that would be, if you were also going to different dimensions, you would bring back so much weird stuff and have so much, and that's why his personal quarters is like infinite, like otherworldly trinkets.
I get that. Actually, that's really interesting because he has a bedroom and then he has his nest. Right?
Yeah,
because his nest is also filled with a bunch of stuff too. Like it's like a bird's nest where it's made up of many different elements from like where you live. But his house, I don't know how this was in English, but in Japanese, they say that they're all omamori, and omamori are protection charms and talismans from different worlds, places, dimensions, countries. Like they're all basically not religious, but they're all things
like dream
that are
catchers and
and like the omamori from like Japan, or like there's another, I forgot what the other thing was, but you can see this like twinkling thing like that protects you from bad spirits outside, or like there are things that you put in between spaces. Like he has like all of those, and that's what he is saying. Like he's trying so hard to not be found by the witch. Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that the witch? The witch of the waste specifically?
Yeah, he's
and
like.
they let her in. I thought it was just witches in general.
No, he's specifically afraid of her because he doesn't want. I think he doesn't know what she can do. And that makes him even more scared, which totally speaks to his young not prepubescent, but like he's like super young and can't understand that level of maturity, I guess. Yeah, everything about him is very afraid. He's very like fear.
He's very fearful.
Fearful.
To be a great grand wizard of thousands of years, he's somehow still also very boyish about his decisions.
Yeah.
This isn't his first war or his second or third.
He's been alive too long, right?
And he's trying to still survive. So also, I like that aspect of this movie.
Another aspect I really enjoyed about this movie is how kind of creepy it is. Like the Howl's house, castle, whatever, is really gross from the outside. Like it looks it looks like Gyo to me, this like horror anime from long ago, Jujito. But like it looks like this like fish jaw, multi Frankenstein layered,
it
like,
definitely
steampunk kind of thing.
If I didn't know what was in there
legs.
and I saw it, I would be like, ooh, there's no good going on in there.
Doesn't it look scary? And also like when Howl, when you find him in his nest and he's all like in his, what is it? Like he's in his like bird form, and she opens like his feathers and his face is just there.
Yeah, it's just his face. Yeah, that's so anime. That's so anime right
It's so anime, but it like kind of freaked me out, and I was just like, I like that. I like how it's like creepy, and it makes me kind of feel unpleasant, but I'm kind of into it.
I
like how
I 100% agree with that. I like Howl's true form, and also the place that he takes her to. That's like his personal place from boyhood. Is one of the most beautiful landscapes that could exist. Yeah. It's all flowers that are beautiful.
And where's this like watermill going? Like where's this, just this one little area of water going?
And that was just like breathtakingly beautiful and made me believe in love, and like I would fall in love with anybody I was there with. And then but see, if you have war, they managed to even get to his like sacred place.
Oh yeah, they did. The little floating people went through. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, if I could build a sacred place for me and the person I love, it would probably look exactly like that, but with an in and out in there.
I would want it to look more like a forest.
Like a forest?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I want there to be a nice hot spring in the middle.
A hot spring.
Yeah. I guess I'm imagining like Inuyasha and stuff.
Yeah, you want Inuyasha.
I just want to live in Japan.
Yeah, you know Miyazaki's very Alps. You pointed out that's Alps for sure. And I like the clouds. It just makes me want to just sit and imagine and you know, when you can just live in your own imagination all day.
Actually, a while ago, what's so funny is you sent me a screen cap of Heidi.
I was
and
like,
the Alps,
what? I didn't know what it was.
This?
I just saw that and I was like, this looks like Nausicaa, but I didn't know what anime it was. And you were like, oh, of course, it's from Heidi in the Alps.
Alps no Shoujo Haiji. It's literally like the girl of the Alps named Heidi, and it's about a girl that talks to goats and like just lives her life and eats like yummy fresh cheese.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was even American or Japanese, but somehow you knew.
It's Japanese, but it actually feels, even like for Japanese, it feels a little foreign because it's so drawn
European.
a certain way.
It's European looking.
And the landscape is very specific.
What is it? And the girl in it looks like Nausicaa.
The older girl in it. Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe even like the girl from Lupin the Third.
Absolutely. It's that style.
Yeah.
A certain time of animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, I think actually we were talking about was Merkel, like, is he a forever boy? I think he is a forever boy.
A forever.
Because a year in time did change, and he didn't change at all.
Oh, he still looked just as young.
Yeah, so I think he is a forever boy. He's like Shippo from Inuyasha.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Yeah. He's,
well, Markle, not Shippo.
Yeah.
I love in Japanese.
Yeah.
His voice is amazing because he sounds like a kid, but when he turns into an old man to like greet the door, he sounds like a little boy pretending to be an old man, and he's so cute. He's like, oh, and it's just so I love
he
him.
sounds like a little boy pretending to be a man too in this one too. Yeah.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
I have one final question, and then I'll stop not understanding and criticizing. Okay. The dog, Sullivan's dog. That was originally a spy.
Yeah.
Because he followed Sophie into Sullivan's quarters. And then he fell in love with Sophie and just stayed with Sophie the whole time.
I guess he did too, yeah.
See, another reason why Sophie should just, like, people are just attracted to Sophie.
Right? Even when she's an old lady, like,
and he's the one that's all like, look, everything's all good, and look at how awesome Sophie is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I don't understand.
Yeah,
the
whole time Sullivan could see through the dogs, which I didn't see coming. The dog was just, why is the dog
And also,
here?
why not intervene if you could see the whole time? Well, I think the dog, like, activated it, I guess. The dog, I don't know.
I guess they just kind of made a family that wouldn't really exist usually. Like this
patchwork family.
Yeah, it was like...
I'm into it. I just wanted a better
She's like
reasoning.
a young woman. She's a young woman who is now become an old woman physically, but she's really young on the inside. And Howl is the opposite. He's really old.
Oh.
And so, like, it's really weird. But then so is Shippo. Is like he's like a kid. So I keep calling him Shippo. Merkel. But so all of these people couldn't really in turn, like all these people couldn't really have a family.
Interesting.
And this is how they could all come together as a family.
I mean, Turnip was cursed because he had to go back to his kingdom.
Yeah.
Was he the reason why the war was going on?
I think so.
He was absent?
Yeah. She mentioned that in the meeting. She was like, I think so. Like the prince.
The other kingdom. Yeah.
And that's what it turned out to be. Yeah. You'd have to really be paying attention. But yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. It is kind of weird that.
I will say. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I didn't watch it when I was young.
Interesting what you were saying too, though. You were like, the Wicked Witch of the Waste starts all of this to happen. By sending Sophie, but inadvertently making something really bad happen to Sophie ended up solving the issue of the war, which is like, even bad deeds can lead to good things happening, like the end of the war, because of love.
Because of love. Yeah, I guess it did, but that's what I mean, though. If it could just end with Sullivan, why did Sullivan decide to end it? What made her go, oh, I guess I'll end the war?
Oh, because the prince came, and they needed their prince, their little blonde-haired prince in the end.
The witch needed to go through all of that to
just because he was missing, and
he was missing, and
and
it's destiny that she had to go to the waste to get to for love. I know, I'm sorry, I just, you know what it is, I watched this as an adult and not as a kid, so I was not like,
I watched it in college.
I was not like hypnotized by it. I couldn't not criticize what I didn't understand, but that's my understanding of it.
I watched this in like 2012, but
visually, I agree. It's amazing. It's just, for me personally, for a Miyazaki movie, it was hard. Like, Laputa's hard, but it's got the linearity going on for me. Like, I can follow it. You know?
It is, I know what you guys are trying to get to happen. There's a clear goal. But this movie's about love, something you wouldn't understand.
Something I don't get. I just don't get it.
Kamaji said it to...
to Rin, he's like, it's about love, something you couldn't possibly understand.
And you too, and me, but oh well.
Let's see. So speaking of love, next week we're gonna be watching my favorite slice of life Ghibli movie.
Oh!
Mimi wo Sumaseba, or in English it's called Whisper of the Heart.
Haven't seen it.
It's my favorite! It's my favorite. Mononoke is my absolute favorite, and then there's this one.
I'm ready to give it a look.
Yay! So if you haven't seen Whisper of the Heart yet, remember to check it out before next week so we don't spoil anything for you and we can talk about it together. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already and subscribe to my channel. I'm Reina Scully.
I'm William Hanks.
And we'll see you next week. Bye!